You know that bit in Family Guy where they have this whole jingle jangle from the power company that's like, we're bringing you the power. And there's all this disco and it's awesome. And it's from an actual band. And then immediately after, they're like, unlike what that jingle just told you, the electric company is not bringing you the power. And the power immediately goes off. That's sort of what happened to me. So there was this giant storm, kicked the hell out of my county, right? And all the counties around it. Lots of damage, lots of trees down, lots of power outages, including us. That's fine, Well, I mean, it's not fine, but I understand that they're not getting it back up in 5 seconds. They get all these extra crews, they're calling in people from like AT&T and all this to help figure it out. And it's been hours and we still don't have power, but I understand, There was tons of damage. There was outages everywhere. There was like 16,000 people without power. That's how bad this like storm was for power outages. So, alright, we go the whole night without power. Sucks, but it is what it is. They have tons of people out. Day two, right? There's tons of these crews. There's like 5 or 6 of these big trucks and crews around our neighborhood. Now we can see there is a tree down on our power line. Like they're working on it. They're all here. There's like 5 or 6 trucks just around our area in our little town. So it should be fine, okay? Well, day two keeps going, and it's obvious that everyone else has power. We don't. So we're like, all right, what's going on here? So we try to talk to our power company and be like, hey, we don't actually have power. Everyone else has power, but there's a tree down on our line. Well, we get a lot of brick walls, and it looks like maybe they'll come help. Well, that didn't happen. Guess what happens? Day three. So we actually get on the phone, myself, my aunt, my grandmother, all get on the phone, and we actually get some representatives, right? So we tell them, hey, like, our power is still out. For some reason, we get some people who are just determined to tell us it's our fault or that we're not doing something right. Have you checked the breakers? That kind of thing. Here's the thing. We flip the breaker. We know there's no point. We can see the tree that's down on the line. We can visibly see it. We can visibly see the line is fucked. But they tell us to check it anyway, and we're like, all right. For some reason, we get a couple people who are like, well, I mean, we should be able to detect if the meter is down, and since it's not down on our screen, it's like, what are you talking about? The meter is dead as hell. We can see the tree. That line is supposed to be 20 feet in the air, not 4 feet under shrub. It's fine. It's annoying by now, but all right, cool. Just they know now that hey, there is a tree down. We can visibly see it. Apparently, they put in all this stuff. Here's where it starts to get more annoying. So there's still some of those trucks and those crews very close to us, like right outside our neighborhood. So both myself and my grandmother stop and talk to them like, "Hey, our power is still out." And they're like, "Well, there's nothing we can do without a work order." We're like, "What do you mean there's no work order? We just talked to people who said they were going to put in reports for it." And they said, "Well, there's nothing we can do without a work order." Now that may be true, but I feel like they could call someone and be like, "Hey, there's this group of people, this couple houses connected to this neighborhood who has a tree down specifically on their line," and they would get a work order and they could do it right then and there. There's like 4 electric company trucks with like 4 guys, like 2 to 4 guys for each truck, and they're sitting there and they're talking, and I'm sure they're exhausted. But it's day three, and the rest of the neighborhood has had power since like day two, and we've been trying to get on the phone and trying to talk to people, and we have, and they tell us, hey, I mean, like, either the report has been filed as resolved by their repair guys, even though it's not resolved, or they're telling us that we should have power and it's our fault. So it's getting annoying. We talked to some more people. We're trying not to be angry, but at this point, it's day three without power. Our AC obviously can't do anything without power. Our water, we had a little bit of warm water, but that is going out the drain, and we're all at each other's throats by now because it's just getting really uncomfortable in the house. We can't charge our phones. We can't do half of anything, and our fridge is obviously, I mean, we had to clear out a lot of it because it was just going to die. We put what we could in a cooler, but a lot of that stuff is ruined. Now, day four, right? I get up and like first thing I try to call and I get through to an actual person. I'm like, hey, we're not even on the outage map anymore. I don't know why. We've talked to actual people multiple times now, but here's the thing, like, it's not us. We're not imagining it, and it's not the breaker. There is a tree down. We can see it. Here's where it gets annoying. They tell us that, oh, it's been set as resolved. I was like, since when? I mean, it's been set as resolved. So all those people we talked to either didn't set it as like, hey, these people are still out of power, or there was just miscommunication and like the crews kept saying, no, there's power here, and they just kept setting it as resolved. Finally, hours and hours later, they come by, they send one guy in a truck, and he's like, oh, I can't do anything about this. There's all this shrub that I have to cut down. We wait. There's this one guy that shows up in a pickup truck, just a white pickup truck, comes down, sort of looks at it, talks on the phone. I think he actually was trying to see if we were bullshitting or not, because I swear, without talking to us or anything, he walked around the house. I was like, at first, I was kind of weirded out. I was like, is this guy with the power company? And he was just on the phone, and he looked like a guy, like a work guy, with the jeans, and he had some tools in the back of his truck. It looked like someone who would be doing this kind of thing. And then he got back in his truck and he left. And we were like, what? Maybe he was just like sussing it out or something. I don't know. So finally, they come by after a long, after quite a while. They fix it. It's fantastic. But this is like day 4, and I understand they were busy. They were super, super busy day 1. Like night 1, I don't blame them whatsoever. I'm sure they worked their asses off. There was so much like wind damage and storm damage, but we're talking like multiple crews out there for hours just in our neighborhood. And then for like 2 hours, they were sitting and talking outside our neighborhood, and our outage was there. And we were like, maybe they thought they just restored it to the rest of the neighborhood and didn't realize we're still out. I don't know. Whatever the case, it was very frustrating. So, yeah, some other quick updates. I got some more Phasmophobia stuff in the works. I'm not really sure if I'm going to continue Amnesia, just because it feels like a lot of people aren't super interested in it. I might do it anyway, just because it was really fun to go through that game. And I feel like I could edit it a lot better than it has been. I've got a major project in the works that I'm sure a lot of people will like, even if I'm a tiny YouTuber, but I feel like this project will get a lot of attention just because I feel like it's so cool. Like I would love to watch this, and I've put so much work into it to try and make it better just because I'm not super comfortable with editing or anything, but I feel like it's going to be really, really, really cool when it comes out. And finally, I'm going to put out, I think, another video on depression. I'm going to edit it a little more. That first one was just me being like, man, I've had such a bad day. I just need to get it off my chest. And some other stuff that comes to depression and ADHD. Not really as like more, not really to like complain about how my journey has been with it, just to sort of give some context that people have asked about that don't have those two and how it works. Just to sort of give like, a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be around it and what it is like to experience it at its worst. I'm trying to improve, so if you've got any kind of criticism, hopefully constructive, just tell me some stuff I can do better, or if I'm doing something bad, just tell me. Like I don't need you to tell me I'm absolute garbage, but just be like, "Hey, this is not really your strongest suit. Maybe like work on it or try something else." That's all I ask for.